Hey guys, this is No Solution. I'm Scott, and this is another episode of Blowing Off the Dust where I re listen to things that have been sitting in my collection for years and kind of reappraise them and decide if I want to keep them. First off, though, Jacob from Jacob's Music, KSI. I'm sorry, Jacob, I don't remember the name of your channel off the top of my head, and I don't edit, so that's what it's going to be. I'll leave a link below. He's starting a thread of kind of going through the alphabet and just showing something from each letter. And this week he wanted to see something from A. So I thought I would just show this. I'm just trying to narrow it down to show something just a bit more interesting or odd or rare. So I picked this out. It's the Antimatter box set. It's called Alternative Matter. If you're not familiar with Antimatter, they are, I guess, kind of a dark rock band with some electronic influence. It was formed by Mick Moss and Duncan Patterson after Duncan Patterson had left Anathema. And Danny Kavanagh of Anathema has also played with them off and on live shows and whatnot. Really cool, really interesting band. And this came out, they formed in, I think, the mid-90s, late 90s. This came out in 2010. UK based, in case I didn't say that or you didn't know. So we got 3 CDs on here. Basically, this is like a rarities, alternate versions kind of thing. So this is really for fans only. Like, if you don't know them, you definitely wouldn't start here. But really cool box set. I'm glad to have it. It has a DVD that with the guys kind of talking about the formation of the band, and a really long booklet. There's a write-up, tons of cool photos. I won't go through all of it, but yeah. Antimatter, a band I kind of lost track of because their last full length was like super hard to get here, and I never actually got a copy of it. This reminded me, and I just looked it up, and I was able to find a copy for a good price. So that'll be coming in the mail. I'll be looking forward to that. So that's my A for Jacob, and kind of keeping in the Danish theme, since Jacob is from Denmark. I've got some Danish metal here, so we'll start with this band, KRI. This is their 95 album. It's called Spit or Swallow. Get it? So edgy, bro. When this came out, I thought this was just like the most extreme thing ever. Now it's kind of cringy, but they preceded it with the Facelift EP. So see, she's pointing the gun at you at this, and then this one is in her mouth. So wow. This is not held up. I was really into this when it came out. So what it is kind of a Swedish HM2 death metal sound, but from Denmark. Kind of standard death metal vocals, fast paced, up tempo with a lot of groove in it. I hate to say this because of what the band became, but I would say it's kind of Machine Head adjacent. Maybe even some Pantera. I know that's a dirty word, but yeah, I mean, it's enjoyable, I guess. I would not buy something like this today. I think I'll keep it just because of the good memories I have of really being into this. The first song, Centuries, is really cool. Facelift, the single, is really cool. It's a good sounding album. The problem is, like, it's not consistent. I could probably whittle this down to an EP that I really liked. But yeah, KRI. I remember this band. I don't know, maybe Jacob or Kim, being from that country, would know more. I remember a lot of hype for this band, and then after this, their next album, basically, Anders, the main guy, kind of, it seemed to be fired the whole band and then hired like James Murphy and Chris Kontos from Machine Head. And that album got a huge push. I remember like being in all the magazines and kind of being a big deal, and then nothing ever really happened. And then he kind of went back to the old lineup, and I don't know what happened to him after that, but I think they're still going. So that did I say his name? Anders Lundmark is the main guy of KRI. And this was also one of his projects, Damon, 7 Deadly Sins. This came out in 1996, and Nick Anderson plays drums on this, and I would assume helped in the songwriting, because this sounds like a Lost in Tomb session. Anders on this does the vocals, and his vocals even sound like LG. If you just played this for somebody and told them it was a Lost in Tomb session, I think they would believe you. The sound is almost identical to the to Ride, Shoot Straight, and Speak the Truth. I know I was going to stumble over that one. Almost identical to that album. That album was recorded before this, but came out after this. I guess kind of the gimmick of this is it was written and recorded in 3 days. It's really fun. Definitely has that, like I said, the To Ride sound, dirty raw production with a lot of amp squealing and stuff like that. So Death and Roll for sure. The songs, I must say the songs aren't that memorable on their own. It's just kind of like a vibe, and it's only about 25 minutes long, and it's super 90s. There's like, Pulp Fiction quotes and Morgan Freeman quote from Seven. It's very, very of its time, but I enjoy it. If you're a big fan of that era of Entombed or Nick Anderson in general, Nick Anderson's death metal stuff, sorry, Steve from All the World's Stage, not the Nick Anderson you like, but the death metal Nick Anderson, I would say check it out if you can find it cheap. Definitely don't shell out for this. I don't know if it's worth anything. It might be cheap, it might not. I don't know. And then I have the follow-up called, appropriately, The Second Coming. Nick Anderson was not involved in this one. New lineup, and this is just kind of like whatever. 5 days written and recorded this time. Less entombed worship and also less interesting. Basic death and roll with some thrash in there. There's a cover of Symptom of the Universe at the end that's pretty by the numbers. And I think this is only like a half hour long too. I think I'm going to be dumping this one. I don't ever see myself having to listen to this one again, but yeah. That's the point of going through these, so I can get rid of some crap, right? I'll just briefly go over this. Yeah, I don't need Revenge, I've decided. I only have a couple, and I knew that, how many Revenge albums do you need? Revenge does Revenge, and I'm not super into it, so I thought having a couple albums was fine, and then I was re-listening to this one, and just found myself kind of zoning out after a couple songs. I was like, how much Revenge do I need? Probably none. So I'll be getting rid of Revenge as well. No offense, I know people really get into that sound, and that's cool, but just not something I need to come back to. Let's do this one. Graveworm, the more well-known, I guess, the Italian Graveworm, spelled with an O. This is a reissue of their first full-length and the EP that followed it. So the first full-length is When Daylight's Gone. They do that annoying, combining the cover arts on here. I wish they just, had one on one side and one on the other, but whatever. So I had never listened to this, actually. I just kind of picked it up, and it was kind of sitting there. I have other Graveworm albums. And the full length is not what I expected. Came out in 1997, if I didn't say it. Italian. They were formed in 1992. This is very keyboard driven and very melodic. Very keyboard driven in that it's the main instrument almost. Other than the vocals, there's not much black metal about this. Well, how I remember this band is almost like a Cradle of Filth style gothic / black metal band. But that's not what the debut album is. It's very slow to mid-pace, simple melodies, a lot of talking about tears in my eyes, and it's kind of emo. Like the not so scary Halloween of black metal. It's very lightweight and very friendly, but I kind of like it, so leave me alone. I want to put on my black lipstick and light a candle and listen to this and feel sad. Yeah. So very, very surprising. I did not know they ever sounded like that. The EP after it, Underneath the Crescent Moon, came out in 1998, and then right away I was like, okay, this is what I remember them being. Very, very fast blast beats. more aggressive and in kind of that Cradle of Filth kind of post real black metal Cradle of Filth sound. And then it's a weird EP. Then the next song is completely orchestral, and they got Sarah Jezebel Diva to do all the vocals on it, who kind of became famous as the female vocalist of Cradle of Filth. I was like, oh, you got the girl who sings for the band you're ripping off. That's kind of ballsy. And then the third song is more in the style of the debut full length, and then they do a cover of How Many Tears, the Halloween song at the end. So yeah, I mean, this is not true cult or anything. I would say give it a listen and see what you think. I mean, it's kind of cheesy, but I did enjoy it. So I'll be keeping that. Are we done? Last 10 minutes. I'm going to just talk about this movie quick so you can bail if you don't give a shit about movies. Beau Is Afraid. I just watched this. It's by Ari Aster, who did Hereditary and Midsummer, which I thought both were really good movies. I'd heard bad things about this. It's 3 hours long. It's not a horror movie. Basically, I don't want to give much away, but Joaquin Phoenix is a very neurotic guy and just trying to deal with his life that's not going the way he wants. And you can tell within the first 10 minutes, it's like, this does not take place in our reality. He lives in a horrible apartment in a horrible part of town. So horrible that there's just like random criminals and crazy people milling around on his street, and he has to run for his apartment building to get in before somebody will catch him and murder him. He goes inside, and there's notices that the entire building is infested with brown recluse spiders. So we're in that kind of like heightened reality, surreal kind of world. And it basically deals with him trying to get home to visit his mother and running into various oddball characters and crazy situations and, things not of our reality. So I think you will know within the first like 30, 40 minutes if this is a movie you can hang with. So you're not going to waste 3 hours and then go, what the heck is this? Pretty quick what kind of movie it is. But fantastically made, beautiful filmmaking. Joaquin Phoenix is incredible as always. Does a great job with the character. And it's also got Nathan Lane, Amy Ryan, Patti LuPone, Parker Posey. Just the kind of the actors I recognize, but everyone does an excellent job, and I think it's a masterpiece. But I can also see why people would hate it. So I recommend Beau Is Afraid. That's it, I guess, for today, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and as always, CM Punk is a piss baby. Later.